So the Thanksgiving holiday or shopping marathon has now wrapped up, and shoppers, they were out in full force looking for all the deals, whether inside those brick and mortar stores or online for Black Friday and Cyber Monday.
We're looking for phones and new laptop and some clothes, and that's about it.
So experts are expecting that consumers are going to drive these record numbers. Cyber Monday, we're still calculating that despite this wider economic uncertainty we're feeling across the country. And then, of course, Black Friday sales set a record, too. We're getting into all that today. We want to welcome in Tsvetta Kaleynska. She is the founder and CEO of Rela Global Consulting. Tsvetta, I had to practice your name a number of times, so please correct me if I got it wrong, but I'm thinking we got it right. Tsvetta Kaleynska.
Tsvetta Kaleynska. Good morning. Nice to meet you, and don't worry about it all. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, I think we nailed it, so I appreciate you hanging with us on that and helping us clarify. Thank you, and good morning to you. So Black Friday shoppers, they leaned really heavily on AI this year. It seems it paid off for online retailers. Let's take a look at this. Adobe Analytics, new numbers out showing U.S. consumers, they spent a record $11.8 billion online. That's a 9% jump from last year. And then the deals, of course, they just wrapped up on Cyber Monday at midnight last night. So numbers on Cyber Monday, those are still being kind of tallied, but it was predicted that consumers would spend about $14 billion. What's driving the spending right now, Tsvetta?
So I analyze consumers and I analyze what they say on social media. So just over the last few days about Black Friday and Cyber Monday, there were 2 million discussions that basically showed us a very clear story. And that is that people shopped. They were very interested in spending money, but they looked for real value. The positive sentiment was really driven by, as we saw with the respondent earlier, they're looking for TVs, for gadgets, and for everyday basics. But there were two major shifts that I saw in the discussion online just in those last few days, and those were two things. The first one is the rise of the experience buyer. And the second one is actually the use of AI. So on experience buying, well, for Black Friday and Cyber Monday, I can't wait to see the data because I think it's going to show us that people spent not just on products, but also on self-care, on vacations, on gym membership, weather packages, but also, as you just showed us, on skill building subscriptions. And that's where the second point comes in, which is regarding AI, which is that AI really seemed to have helped shoppers and consumers drive a higher demand and participation because they leveraged AI to really understand where they could get the best deal.
Yeah, and it helped you whether you wanted it or not. When you typed it in a search bar, you had 5 options and the best place to buy it. It was really helpful. AI helped me out in my shopping, too. I am curious your take on this. Typically in the past, MasterCard is reporting this big gap between online and in-store spending after both Black Friday and Cyber Monday. In the past, you've seen brick and mortars try to run at it and say, hey, if you come in, you get an extra gift or you get an extra deal. And I didn't see that as much this year. Did you?
I didn't see much of that either. And I'll tell you what I have seen over the course of literally the whole 2025 year, but also in those last few days. So one of the interesting shifts that we're seeing currently in those last few days with freshly analyzed data is that people treated the whole shopping experience as a way to invest in more experiences and more actually comfort. So being at home and relaxing at home while receiving their gift. A lot of mentions talked about in-store chaos, which people were trying to avoid, and also travel. So limiting as much travel as possible. Yeah. Now, aside Monday, yesterday, was specifically interesting because it became almost a moment where people talked about that self-improvement. And again, those subscription for upskilling. And they talked about basically less clutter, so less products, and more knowledge, more feeling better.
Fascinating. Well, all this spending coming on the heels of that consumer confidence index. I know you were watching that as it came out a couple of weeks ago. So it was really curious to see how the numbers would do today. And I know the numbers are still coming in on Cyber Monday. But consumer confidence was lower going into Black Friday than it was just a year ago. A lot of talk about tariffs, pushing inflation higher. Inflation was 9% under the Biden administration, up 2% during the Trump administration, so significantly less than the last administration. Hard to tap down inflation that quickly, but nonetheless, prices are up across the board. So affordability, it's on everybody's mind on Main Street right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So the main topic that I've analyzed this whole 2025 has been tariffs and inflation. Though those have been recurring themes that we see with consumers. But I do have to say that over the course of actually this last few days with Cyber Monday and Black Friday, we also saw some discussions about going greener and being more eco-conscious. So now I think we're entering into almost like a whole new consumer era going into 2026, where retailers have to be very careful on how they advertise to their consumers, taking into account approaching, of course, inflation and tariff discussions, but also being smarter on how they present the products, the value that they're given, and how they could be smarter when it comes to the eco-consciousness.
Yeah, the value there, because a lot of people, stores were saying we have to raise prices and, cover our margins. So some were saying the deals maybe weren't quite what they had been in the past. I am curious, have about 30 seconds left. Do you think if someone missed out on Black Friday and Cyber Monday, read the tea leaves ahead right through the Christmas season, are there any sales or discounts we can jump in on, and when do we start watching for those?
I would probably say this is where I would bring in AI and leverage any AI platform I could to find the real deals today. So I don't think it's ever too late. Let's boost the economy a little bit and don't feel like you're left out. Today is a great day to shop.
Everybody can get in on the action, right?
Exactly.
Tsvetta Kaleynska with Rela Global Consulting. Wonderful to have you on. Nice to see you.